They did. Now they picked it up again.
Yeah, they're picking it up. They're
to an
flying.
expressing.
When it's early.
In 1888, the term kinesthesia was phrased to describe our ability to sense the position and movements of our limbs and trunk. The stimulus for kinesthetic movements derived from muscle movement and relaxation and stressing of muscle spindles. Two kinds of nerve endings, stretch receptors and Golgi tendon organs, are responsible for controlling the stimuli. The stretch receptors are attached to muscle fibers, which after responding to muscle and organ stimuli, transmit messages to the medulla in the brain. The Golgi tendon organs are a sensory reception organ located, as the name suggests, in the tendons. In addition, there are peripheral receptors, which are muscle spindles, and skin stretch receptors that signal the skin and muscle receptors to move. Muscle spindles are accepted as another key factor in the stimuli for kinesthetic movement. Muscle spindles are important because their primary endings respond to the size of a muscle length, change, and its speed, and therefore it's believed that they contribute to our sense of limb position and movement. Myosin and actin spindle fibers made of ATP motor proteins are found in the muscles and help in muscle contraction. When the fibers are stretched, muscles tighten and fibers shorten. When the fibers are released, muscles relax and fibers elongate. Thus, these nerves allow us to have a sense of bodily position.
The vestibular sense allows for spatial awareness and balance. Sensory information from across the body, as well as the systematic immune responses, contributes to an overall sense of balance and location. Vision is integral to the function of the vestibular system. Almost 20% of visual neurons respond to the vestibular stimulation. Those who have suffered from damage in the inner ear, where vestibular organs are located, can compensate for vestibular dysfunction with visual information. When the visual information is removed, however, it can result in dizziness or a falling sensation for the individual. The auditory system is also elemental to the vestibular sense. Similar to the visual disruption, auditory disruption affects the function of the vestibular sense. The soles of our feet also provide the brain with information on the texture of the ground. These pressures on the soles of the feet allow the brain to calculate weight distribution and thus balance and movement. Receptors throughout the body send information to the brain. Consequently, the information is processed in the brain. Repetition of movement strengthens neural pathways of the kinesthetic sense, hence the term muscle memory. Electrical stimulation of the motor cortex produces bodily movement. Brief stimulation generally elicits small or simple movements. Comparatively, when the premotor cortex is stimulated, a large amount of electrical current is required. The increased stimulation yields larger, more complex movements. Survival skills and life skills. Movement is important for many reasons. If humans did not have the sense of movement, both vestibular and kinesthetic, we would never move, and certainly never evolve. Movement is a major part of every person's life. Exercise relies on the kinesthetic movement made by our muscles. Any way of moving from point A to point B relies on balance from our vestibular movement, and the muscular movement from our kinesthetic. Thresholds. The threshold for weight is 1 to 40 standard units. A person will be able to notice the difference when 1 unit is added to every 40 units of weight. Ernest Hendrich Weber performed a test to show that humans being touched with points of a compass that are close together will perceive them as 1 point. Subjects could tell 2 touches in less than a 20th of an inch on their tongues, 2 touches in a half an inch on their cheeks, and 2 touches in 2 inches on their backs. Fun facts! Vestibular organs are responsible for motion sickness. The nausea is caused by a disparity between visual information and vestibular sensation. 85% of patients with vestibular disorders complain about dizziness.